is a deck tech for the deck Maverick, or Dark Maverick. Just a quick introduction to those who might be so new to Legacy that they aren't that familiar with this deck. This used to be like a big Legacy like format. I wouldn't say format dominating, but definitely like part of a triumvirate of really strong decks back in about 2012 when I started playing. Might even have been a big player before then, but back in 2012 when I got into Legacy, Legacy was basically Rug Delver, Canadian Threshold, versus Maverick versus the World, and the World being mostly like combo. Reanimator was really big. Avison Restored had just been released, and Grizzled Brand was in there. So were the Miracle cards, but I don't think Miracles was really had been discovered, so to speak. And by the time it was, and with the printing of Deathrite Shaman, Maverick just sort of fell by the wayside to an extent. I think especially like Miracles. Miracles is a really bad deck to play when you're playing Maverick. Okay, so also back then the deck didn't play the black, it just was green-white. It splashed black primarily now to play its own Deathrite Shamans. So there are quite a few ways to build this deck. Like primarily it is a Green Sun Zenith deck, so we want some bullet creatures that are green for us to Zenith for. Dry Arbor being probably the first one to mention, because that lets Green Sun Zenith be mana ramp. Lets the Zenith for 0 on turn 1 into having 3 mana potentially on turn 2. But we also have like 4 Deathrites. I run 1 Noble Hierarch just to sort of get one step ahead in like Deathrite Mirrors or whatever. Sometimes the Exalted matters. We have Scavenging Ooze, which is just can be a fantastic creature. Sweet with the graveyard interaction, and can grow really big, so I like having one of those. Trying out the Courser of Kruphix. I haven't really played that before. See how that works out as sort of as a 3-drop, but the all-encompassing 3-drop is the Knight of the Reliquary. This used to be like the reason to play the deck, I think. Knight gets insanely big, and it lets you sort of search your library for lands to grow itself, but also just to get a bunch of wastelands to machine gun down your opponent's lands. A lot of decks can't really handle that. Basically, like Delver decks have a really hard time answering Knight of the Reliquary, especially on ones that aren't running Abrupt Decay. Like a Resolved Knight will usually be like a 4/4 or bigger. By the time it resolves, just takes like a fetch land and a wasteland. So Knight acts as like severe beatdown, but it also acts as a toolkit for the lands we play. So we've got like some singleton lands that are quite useful, like Caracas. If we're up against Show and Tell, they Show and Tell, we show in Knight of the Reliquary, and they show in Emrakul. We take the turn, activate Knight to get Caracas. We have Gaia's Cradle, which is just really nice, especially with the few equipments we're running. We quickly get a lot of creatures on board, and Gaia's Cradle will like hardcast and a sword and equip it. Yeah, Cavern of Souls, that's just a nice gotcha sometimes to the blue decks. Other than that, just fetches and some duels and basics. Like ideally, this Misty ought to be probably a Verdant Catacombs. I guess I only own 2 Verdants. Let me just have a look. See if this is just a... yeah, I only have 2, so that's why the Misty, it ought to be a Verdant Catacombs. Just because, well, I guess it doesn't matter actually. Misty gets... Oh yeah, actually, yeah, it does matter, because Misty doesn't get the Scrubland. So, there's that. So, if Knight of the Reliquary is like part of what defines Maverick, another part is the partnership of Thalia and Mother of Runes. These two creatures are also the centerpiece of another deck that is sort of a cousin to this deck, which is Death and Taxes, a deck that I am planning on assembling as soon as I win the lottery or they reprint Port, which is like insanely expensive for Magic Online. But anyways, these two cards, Mother is exceptionally good at controlling the board in like creature matchups, and Thalia is just excellent to slow down and really put a wrench to the like all the cantrip decks and just the general legacy all-star. We got a couple of Stoneforge Mystics. I don't run the full package just because like a lot of the time we just want a Zenith for Knight, but a couple of Stoneforges because it does have like a high power level, and the Jite and Sword are the equipments I've chosen, sort of Fire and Ice. I don't run Batterskull because only running 2 Stoneforges, I don't want to get like stranded with a Batterskull in my hand and no outlet for it. Got some removal, 3 Source of Plowshares, usually that's 4, but I got it down 3 because we're running Decay, a couple of Decays. And a couple more Zenith creatures worth mentioning is Galactique. This guy instant wins over Storm in game 1, as long as Storm isn't running Burning Wish, but most aren't, because their win conditions are entirely for mana spells. And then Kasali Pride Mage, really good answer to just everything artifact enchantment related, especially like equipments on the other side, but whatever. Counterbalance, Sylvan Library. Speaking of Sylvan Library, we're running 2 because it's sort of our way to get some card selection. We have a lot of ways to shuffle between Green Sun Zenith and Knight of the Reliquary, so having a couple of Sylvans is really neat. Okay, on to the sideboard. So like I said, we really want to be able to, or we have a really hard time fighting against miracles. So I have made part of the sideboard quite anti-miracle-like. Chokes are quite bomby. Pithing Needle is really good to stop top. Choke also has like applications and other comes in against, I guess, basically any blue deck, more or less. Anyways, we've got a couple of Zealous Persecutions to fight stuff like the Mirror Match, Elves, which incidentally is also a quite difficult matchup. Pyromancer decks, this is nice there. Got some anti-combo stuff here, some discard spells, Surgical Extraction. Got the 4th Plowshare here for like, yeah, again, the Mirror Match Elves, creature decks. Containment Priest to fight against Reanimator and Chantel, basically. It's also nice against some other decks like Elves, Dredge, whatever. Ethersworn Canvas, good against Storm, good against Elves. And the Singleton Rest in Peace. This sideboard could probably like look a million different ways, but this is how I've chosen to do it, and yeah, I'm open for suggestions, but this is how I have drawn it up. So I look forward to getting some games in, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you for the first game.